Coming off of a challenging race last week at Fairbury Speedway, we moved to one of the most difficult tracks for dirt racing. Located in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, it's Williams Grove Speedway with race number 8 of the Dirt Street Stock Series hosted by the Bootleg Racing League, live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Gary Weaver, and with me in the booth is Devin Henry. Pushing the buttons behind the scenes is our director, Joe Peak, and he's using cameras set up and provided to us by Dougie Beard. Before we get underway with this race tonight, let's see how exactly we navigate this challenging track with our GSRC lap guide.
Home of the Pennsylvania Posse, Williams Grove has been a force on many a dirt series calendar since the 1940s. This half-mile clay oval has hosted so many of the legendary dirt crowd, it's probably easier to find out who hasn't ran here. While the turns may be lightly banked, they are wide, allowing a good run onto the long straights. From World of Outlaws sprints that can hit 160 miles an hour on those straights to late models doing close to 100 to 120. Just watch out for the old Armco barriers that have breaks in them that can ruin your day quickly. Williams Grove will many times host 2 nights of racing during the summer weeks. Several classes of sprint cars, late models, street stocks, Silver Crown midgets, and modifieds will scream around here with those drivers looking for that chance to move up to the big leagues. And they have that chance to be seen in front of them as the World of Outlaws, late models, and sprint cars make stops here. Dirt car, late models, and USAC all come around. Williams Grove can be a gateway to a career for an aspiring dirt competitor. Welcome to Williams Grove, Pennsylvania.
And that is how we get around Williams Grove Speedway. Before we get into our event tonight with our details and the track info, we'd like to remind you that tonight, this race is brought to you by The Cruise Shop, which has been in operation since 1986. They are a team of highly experienced travel agents that have a huge passion for travel. They specialize in cruises, all-inclusive resorts, escorted tours, Disney and family travel, groups, honeymoons, and weddings. They would love the opportunity to help you plan your next vacation. Give them a call today at 260-755-6125 or visit thecruiseshopfw.com. The Cruise Shop is dedicated to fulfilling their clients' dreams one destination at a time. You saw there on the GSRC lap guide that little standing camera shot at the opening on the back straightaway, and that's something to really keep an eye on for tonight as they head down the back straightaway. With our information for tonight at Williams Grove, Devin Henry.
Well, this is a big track, but for a series like this, it feels more to them like a small track. This year is a half-mile clay oval built back in 1939, banking 12 degrees in the turns, 3 degrees in the straightaways, and even though it is a half mile, it's a big, long track. It's also very narrow. These BRL guys like to have a lot of room, like Eldora, for instance, a half mile with a lot of room to run. Well, this track is just so narrow, even in the corners. Boy, we heard from them last week that they really weren't looking too forward to this half mile that almost drives like a pavement half mile like Martinsville.
Now, this track is absolutely challenging for sure, especially with the fact that you're going from, in some cases, as we take a look right now at the number 52, well, that is John Wilson. Right now, he's going 50 miles per hour in the corners for the time being, and down the straightaway, a maximum of just about 95, just entering turn number 3. So Wilson absolutely on the power as much as possible, but you can barely get up to 100 miles an hour here. But,
and he's not even on the inside, too. They're going to go slower when they're on the inside, and right now they're on the outside. And it's just so crazy how there's not many dirt tracks where you have to brake before you get into the corner, especially in these tanks.
Yeah, especially with these cars. And, well, Devin, what's our race details going in here for tonight?
Well, of course, we're getting down to the wire, guys. It's round 8 of 11. Only a few more races to go to make up some points in this Dirt Street Stock Series. We are in heat race format here in the BRL Dirt Street Stocks. It will be 5 to 6 cars per heat race for however many heat races that we will need. Right now, we do have 21 entries, but only 20 of them will make the feature. We will take 3 cars out of every heat race, and then our Constellation will make up however many other cars that we need, with one car going home right now, and also just one fast repair.
Might be 22 cars going home by
Ooh.
the looks of it, so a little bit stacked here for tonight, despite the fact that most of the drivers, like you mentioned, were not looking forward to this race at all, but we will get to that in just a moment after we get through our championship standings as we head into Williams Grove here for this week. Well, it was relatively the same before and after February, and this is how it sorted out, with Tyler Jackson still on the point with 550 points, leading Justin Morton with 79 points in second place. Steven Spees, 88 points in third. Michael Redding and Aiden Young battling it out for the fourth place position. Just 4 points, actually 3 points rather, separating those two between fourth and fifth. Well, for the time being, Devin, well, as of last week, I mean, Tyler Jackson, he didn't take an EOL last week, and he finished fourth place at Fairbury, so something to really keep an eye on and to see how he will take to this track. So far, I don't believe he has actually set a practice time. He has not, but he might be doing so tonight.
Yeah, the only two drivers who are entered and have not completed a practice lap are also the only two winners at Williams Grove in this BRL Dirt Street Stock Series, that being Tyler Jackson, a 4-time winner, and Bobby Rafferty, a 2-time winner, just alone in this season, guys. So I'm obviously intrigued. Both of them have had potential issues with, of course, that terrible real-life work kind of stuff possibly getting in the way of the fun stuff, iRacing. So hopefully that's not a matter, because, boy, it's fun when we have all of the heavy hitters racing tonight. As you watch Justin Morton, who is just 0.06 of a second behind the J.R. Shepherd fast speed right now with 24.909. Going back to last week at Fairbury, Justin Morton winning his first ever win in the BRL Dirt Street Stock Series that has now entered its third season, almost done with its third season. And so you saw in the points there, he's still in this, but it's going to take a lot to take that title away from Tyler Jackson this late in the season.
Yeah, this late in the season, it's pretty much nearly no chance, just a little bit, but we'll see if Justin Morton can actually prevail here and get into the lead for the point standings. I was going to bring that up as well. Justin Morton, the third different driver to win in this third season as well. So Justin Morton absolutely starting to get everything, starting to get a little bit back on the roll as well. So consistent top 5 finishes are about enough, but unless you're Tyler Jackson, well, you have to beat him first. He's been finishing consistently in the podium spots.
And I'd have to say that right now, I think that the guy to beat might just be Bobby Rafferty. He won this race last season in the Dirt Street Stock Series. He didn't just win it. He went 40 for 40. He led every single lap, just like Justin Morton did last week at Fairbury. But in that race, there was no Tyler Jackson. Well, at the very least, we have them both entered tonight, so that hopefully means we might just have a show in the A-Main.
I'm just looking right now down that back straightaway. It is just absolutely scary to see that little essentially bend in the back straightaway in that guardrail, because you know there's an opening there. This is going to be a great onboard shot here. Onboard Justin Wilson running a little bit the higher line. You see they're not running the entire inside lane directly on the inside as maybe you would at some tracks, running the middle line, and that opening right there, you can see John Wilson giving a little bit of space, not running right up against the wall, and that's on purpose because that opening comes up very quickly.
And honestly, it doesn't, I mean, I know that this isn't true because Williams Grove is pretty wide, but it just, it feels so narrow. You can see how low that cushion is. It's not even up near the wall right now, and they're running like a lot of laps. And it's just strange how quickly the track seems to dry out because it should be so wide and so full of moisture. But man, you really got to change lanes pretty quickly.
I'm seeing Brennan Myers, one of the first to leave the track as we are underway for qualifying. 4 laps given to these drivers across the course of 5 minutes. We'll be seeing sometimes being put in later throughout the session, so not everyone will be setting in their times right away. And one of those is Tyler Jackson, known to wait until the end of the session, looks and waits for the time to beat. And well, we'll see what Brennan Myers sets here as he crosses the start-finish line for his first timed lap.
And it does look like Tyler Jackson. He said he has it running in the hauler. He just came in a little bit late, so hopefully he didn't meet. He didn't miss the driver's meeting, and then he has to go to the back of the tail or anything like that in real life. But yeah, already almost a minute through qualifying and only a few laps up. This track takes a while to get around, Gary.
Quite some time, and how long will that be specifically? Well, 25.318 seconds according to Myers' first time set on the board, and Justin Morton immediately shutting that down by 0.3 of a second quicker, and everyone else's time starting to come in.
Yeah, as the leaderboard fills up, Justin Morton is still feeling good from that win last week, and you can see him running the inside there. And it is incredible how much you have to use the brake upon entry here. Something that you really don't do on dirt, especially in the dirt street stocks, is utilize that brake. But you want to get right up there on that grass berm. The lower you are, the better on a fresh track.
Brennan Myers spinning out on the front straightaway, going to try one more attempt if he does choose to take a tow. And doesn't look like it for the time being, but Morton right now in provisional pole. Brian Dean, absolutely, well, the closest driver now, just under 0.03 seconds off as we take a look at J.R. Shepard now, and I believe is starting his time to run.
And Shepard up to the top of the board at 24.896. A beautiful lap, almost a whole tenth, or excuse me, about half of a tenth of a second ahead of Justin Morton. And one of my favorite things about this series is that you get 4 chances. So if you feel like you need to reset, you can go back in the pits and then get back out there and try again.
And speaking of trying again, well, Tyler Jackson is now out on track a little bit earlier than normal as well for the for that number 8 machine, but I think he's really eager to just get going after seeing the times start to settle down with J.R. Shepard. So we'll see what Tyler Jackson does as he rounds the corners, really rotating the car on the inside lane, trying to carry as much speed possible across the start-finish line. 24.896 is the time to be across the line, and it's going to be Tyler Jackson with a 24.817. Put that 8 into the pole.
Boy, how does he do that? 0.08 of a second, the difference between his time. Was that lap 1 and J.R. Shepard's all 4 laps? We also do have Bobby Rafferty is on the track as well, 2 of who I think is going to be the hard hitters. As Rafferty now in the pits after putting down a lap good enough for 4th, is Jackson still trying to find a way, and does find a way to get a little bit faster.
Tyler Jackson, can he break into the 24.7 range at this point? So far looks to be so with how he's been doing so far in this run, and that lone little wall there that sticks out slightly in turns 3 and 4 is a little bit scary to come across at some points, but right now it's still Tyler Jackson consistent and high at 24.8 second time range, so he might decide to call it here, and he does.
And you gotta think that this is probably a track that Jackson really likes, being the bottom feeder. This is a track where there's so much untapped moisture on the inside once this track starts to slick off. And so we'll see if he's able to be someone to really utilize that as the night gets later and later and the track gets more and more worn out.
As also temperature gets more and more, well, lower, I should say, in a sense. We'll get to that pretty much right now, actually. 79 degrees in air temperature, 67 degrees in track temperature in Fahrenheit. Wind blowing east at 6 miles per hour and only 49% humidity. That's a little bit of a humid night, but not too bad, especially for the track temperature at 67 degrees. So we'll keep an eye on that as the night continues to go on, if it does continue to go down ever so slightly.
Bobby Rafferty bouncing up to P2. I believe he was P6 before he made that lap. He took 2 laps and went inside the pits, and then took his last lap there. And Tyler Jackson and Bobby Rafferty on the top of the board as Justin Morton will now try to move up from P6.
We'll see, but time has ended for now. So qualifying is over. We're going to roll into your heat races for tonight. And we're going to hold off on saying how many heat races are there that will take place until about now. 4 heat races confirmed for tonight, and your starting grid for the first heat race, it's going to be Roger Woody starting off in first, Aiden Young second. Third place is Brennan Myers.
Kenny Kibbe will start off in 4th, Michael Redding in 5th, in the fast qualifier Tyler Jackson. We at the tail end of the field of this inverted heat race.
That's going to be something to really keep an eye on. Again, inverted heat races, or inverted grids, I should say, as well. Fastest drivers are in the back, slowest drivers are on the front. Gives everyone a little bit of a better chance to try and earn and race their way in. As looks like we may be going back to... Actually, now it's still 22 drivers, actually, so we are good to go for tonight. 2 drivers will be going home, unfortunately for them, but this is the time where we'll see who exactly is going home. I believe 2 pace laps here at Williams Grove.
Yeah, still 2 pace laps, because even though, I mean, this track feels longer than half a mile sometimes. And so, yeah, you still get the 2 pace laps. It's still really narrow, so these guys who love to go 3 wide, sometimes you won't be able to do that. And, of course, the bottom. Who will be able to be the most consistent on the lower end of the track for these first couple of heat races, and then who can start utilizing what's going to start building up as a cushion as we get into those later heat races.
We'll see 1 more pace lap remains, with Roger Woody opting for the inside lane on this main start. Starts and restarts, leader can choose whichever line they feel comfortable with. And Roger Woody looks to be comfortable with that inside lane, so we'll see how he decides to take the initial start of this race, if he decides to lay back and wait for the starter to throw the green, or if he goes immediately after the pace truck pulls off the track, giving a lot of space as well to that pace truck.
They got a long way to get to the front straightaway here, Gary.
Yeah, it's a long corner at 35 miles an hour, but we'll see. Roger Woody, 30 miles an hour, running, waiting, still waiting, still waiting. Flag in the hand of the starter. Woody has not gone just yet, still holding, and the green flag flies. He goes when the starter goes, and it's going to be 2 by 2 by 2 down into turns 1 and 2, and Woody with a great start so far.
Boy, pushing way up the track as Aiden Young finished second in the race last week, but qualified not so well here at Williams Grove. Brendan Myers taking advantage. Michael Redding wants to follow. Boys, no 3 wide into 3.
Brendan Myers going to slide just up in front of Aiden Young, as we were nearly 4 wide there through turn number 3. And it's going to be a drag race now between Michael Redding and Brendan Myers for that second place position. Tyler Jackson getting a little bit of a bump by Kenny Kibbe. Redding slides down, chops the nose off the number 8 machine, and Redding is now just almost up to second place. He could actually got the 25 of Myers, but decided not to.
Man, I don't get it. Did they hear me say that you should be using the inside and that there's not going to be a ton of usage on the outside? Because they're just been like using every inch of the track, as Jackson caught a little bit of the inside guardrail there, and man, back to P6. We are now 2 laps into this thing.
He's using the very inside lane, and he's getting so close to the inside wall as well, as we ride on board with Aiden Young as he goes side by side with Brendan Myers. A little bit of contact as well as he slides up. 3 wide for the transfer spot. Tyler Jackson on the inside lane. And it's going to be a drag race now to the start-finish line for the transfer spot, although 4 laps, or working lap 4, I should say, out of 8. So there's still a little bit of time, and Aiden Young going way up the racetrack.
Michael Redding to the inside, door-to-door here down the back straightaway. Woody's been doing a great job so far in this race, keeping it, but man, Redding has that preferred inside lane.
It's going to be Michael Redding into the lead here at Williams Grove, and all that transfer spot in 3rd place was not enough. He wants first, and he gets a shot from Roger Woody as they go into turn number 3. Maybe a little bit of an earlier brake zone than the 09 was expecting, as Tyler Jackson now in the transfer spot comes side by side. They're side by side 3 wide, I should say, for 4th place. Just behind them is everyone making every single pass at halfway, coming with 3 laps to go now. Jackson up to 2nd, Woody down to 3rd, and it looks like the back half of the field has sorted themselves out. Aiden Young, unfortunately, had huge collision with the outside wall, slid in a bit too hard.
Boy, there was a lot of beating and banging going on, and Aiden Young just got the worst part of it, and now Kenny Kibbe has his eyes set on Roger Woody. I mean, this heat race is so long time-wise. Usually Woody would just already, he probably would have finished 2nd in a regular heat race, but this race is so long that Kenny Kibbe's going to start licking his chops here with 2 to go.
We'll see what Kenny Kibbe has in store for Roger Woody, but Tyler Jackson, I'm sure, definitely not wanting to settle for that second place position. As we ride in car and look behind, and you see just that blue number 8 just lurking behind, unbeknownst to Michael Redding up until right now. Side by side at the start finish line, white flag is out this time by, and for the lead of the heat race is going to be Tyler Jackson going with a crossover down to the inside. Redding makes a little bit of contact on the passenger side. Here comes Roger Woody. He might try to make a pass, but still Tyler Jackson by a full car length now. Redding tries to dive down to the inside lane to try and get a little bit of an advantage, but it will not work. Nearly drag racing, but it will be Tyler Jackson, Michael Redding, and Roger Woody all in the top 3 advancing. Brendan Myers and Kenny Kibbe go into the consolation event, as well as the 69 of Aiden Young. Great job by Tyler Jackson from 6th to 1st after getting sent back as well.
Boy, that was a long heat race, Gary. That just felt like that one took a while, but that's just how big this track is. And we talked about braking points, how we had a little bit of collision on corner entry, and that's part of, wow, this track kind of drives like a pavement short track where everyone's braking into a corner is a little bit different, because usually in these cars, if you're braking, it's kind of in the center of the corner, maybe to set the car a little bit or just slow it down a little bit. But at Williams Grove, you have to whoa that puppy up about 45 miles an hour by the time you get halfway through the corner. This track is just so intensive when it comes to hitting your marks, more than I think just about any other dirt track on this platform.
We've seen those different braking points as well. Derek Neal starts off in the first place position in the number 15 machine, and looks like we got an EOL. Let's see exactly for the reason why. So it'll be Brock Lovett starting off in the first place position. To his outside, it's going to be the 26 of Donnie Moore, and then it will be the number 9 machine of Justin Morton starting off in 3rd place. 4th place, Bobby Rafferty. 5th place going to be Donnie Moore. 6th place now going to be Derek Neal.
2 EOLs here, 1 for Donnie Moore, 1 for Derek Neal. So they'll start in the back here. That helps out Bobby Rafferty. Instead of starting 6th, he starts 4th. So we'll see how this goes here, Gary. We obviously saw that these guys could use almost every inch of the track earlier in this race. We'll see how much longer that happens. I mean, you can already see in turns 1 and 2, you know, all that little darker stuff on top, that's all of the, I don't know how to say it, marbles. Basically, that's the dirt that has kind of coated the outside that's being used when the drivers use the inside lane. That's kind of how the cushion gets built up, but it's just so thin that there's no cushion there right now. So it's either driving the loose stuff or make it slick down lower on the track where everyone's going to be driving.
And I'll see what these drivers choose, which line to use. So far, it looks to be still the inside being the one that just wants to be used, but not too much by everybody. So we'll see what Brock Lovett decides to do as he goes on the inside up to 42 miles an hour. Starter waves the green flag, and we're racing again at Williams Grove with heat race number 2 of 4 for the time being. Jared Nelson with a great start and coming right through the middle is almost Bobby Rafferty, making it a staggered 4 wide. Here comes Justin Morton on the bottom looking to make it 3 wide.
It's just so tough to run 3 wide here because you are just at such a disadvantage going into the corner. There's just no real room, and those guys on the outside won't give you a ton of wiggle room either, as now Morton will fall outside the transfer spot as Bobby Rafferty's on the bumper of Brock Lovett, who finds the bumper of Melton. Boy, we got some dominoes being played here.
And that shows just how different everyone's braking points are here at this track. Someone brakes sooner, you don't really expect it in one corner, and then another corner, it's the exact same. So we'll see how that plays out in the A main. As Justin Morton is on the inside looking for that transfer spot on Bobby Rafferty. You just cannot get a run off on the inside lane. I'm pretty sure that is just frustrating more than anything for Justin Morton.
Melton, the fastest lap of this heat race so far, trying to run away from the field as we are coming down. Try to complete lap number 3. Boy, these are long heat races, and this gives you time to try to set up moves more. You don't have to be so run and gun. You're able to take a little bit more time, find a line, find momentum, and then make the pass.
Speaking of making passes, it will be Bobby Rafferty on the inside of Brock Lovett. for the time being after Rafferty set the fastest lap time, nearly sliding up into Brock Lovett. As we continue to ride on board Morton through that corner, we're just watching a portion of that battle through the inside. Morton slides up the track in the background, but Bobby Rafferty, it looks like the inside lane was there for the first heat race to be able to pass on the inside, but now it's starting to become the higher lines to get that run off the corner.
Rafferty once again on the inside, door to door going into turn number 3. And something that's just really tough to do if you don't practice it is turning into a corner lower than you would. You short track guys know this. You have to practice passing someone or being on the inside of someone going into a corner because your braking completely changes. That's the same here at Williams Grove because it's so easy to slide all the way up and go into a corner too hot and you just lose your position again. Now Justin Morton is trying to find a way around Brock Lovett, that final transfer spot in third. Decides who's going to be safe in the A main and who will be one of 2 cars that might go home in the Constellation.
I see Justin Morton continues to retrieve the inside, but just still cannot get there for the time being. So he's been using the very inside lane throughout this entire heat race throughout all 8 laps. Again, keeping in mind, this track surface has already been worn in from the first heat race. But Jared Melton and Bobby Rafferty will be running away with the 1-2 positions for the time being as they come across the start-finish line this time by to take the white flag. And it's going to be all Jared Melton for the time being in that number 75 machine. Taking a look back for now at third place, Justin Morton. Does he have anything left for Brock Lovett, or will he go to the Constellation? He'll try the higher line, number 9, but will not work for it now. Jared Melton comes off to number 4, and he will defend and win heat race number 1, advancing to the A main. Second place will be Bobby Rafferty. Third place is Brock Lovett, and Justin Morton, along with Donnie Moore and Derek Neal, will go into the Constellation event.
This track continues to widen out a little bit. You can use some more of the track. The inside's starting to become less preferred. In about a heat race or 2, this track is really going to start drying out, and that's where I'm going to start wondering, where do you go? The outside isn't always favorable, as say tracks like Eldora or Charlotte for that instance. Who will be able to use that untapped moisture on the bottom? Rod Melton did a great job all heat race. He was extremely consistent on the inside.
We'll see how this 5-car field now takes to Williams Grove here, consisting of Austin Belkey starting off in first place, as he might be looking to go up to the top side to start off, but looks like he'll be behind the pace truck instead. But Robbie Robinson starts off on the outside of Austin Belkey. Joe Segala starts 3rd, Brian Dean in 4th, and Jared Shepard starts off in 5th. And, well, again, inverted heat race, so we've seen Jared Shepard a multitude of times make his way up through the heat races and Constellation if necessary, but he's always there in the A main.
Boy, you gotta love that shot coming from the bottom of the bridge there on the back straightaway. This track is just so unique. There's really nothing else like the Grove here in Pennsylvania, home to the Pennsylvania Posse, one of their favorite tracks because of how technical it is. The more practice that you get at a track like this, the better you are until you hit the next track, because boy, you better throw everything else out that you learned here at this track. It's just so different once you get to Williams Grove. And of course, I mean, I gotta shout out Joe Segala. I love the spec map on the number, man. You don't see enough spec maps on numbers.
It's really rare, but it's absolutely incredible when it's used right. The shine is just...
Exactly.
It's absolutely brilliantly placed by either Joe Segala, who painted it himself, or whoever painted Joe Segala's paint scheme, but...
They'll let us know.
I'm pretty sure. We'll see. Right now, Austin Belkey going to be in control. Everyone so far has been waiting for the starter to throw the green flag, and well, you can go pretty much anytime you want between the time the pace truck pulls off and when that happens, or the green flag flies. So everyone waiting and stacking up the field, not trying to stretch it out too early on. Belkey goes way up top early on, over rotates almost, but 3 wide for the lead for the time being. And there's everyone in one camera shot, believe it or not, as it's going to be stuck in the middle and backing out. Robbie Robertson, great awareness to back out. 3 wide for 3rd place in a sense, as Robinson is stuck in the middle again, believe force himself to back out as Joe Segala goes for the lead on the inside.
Almost 3 wide for the transfer, but that chrome number of the 81 taking the lead as Belkey flies way up the track, and they're 4 wide on exit. Oh, that's not going to end well. Boy, that was close. I think Brian Dean there about got the worst of that, able to keep it under control. Man, into the wall. Belkey's just way high up on the track.
And Belkey not used to this track just yet, so it's unfortunate, but it does happen sometimes. Maybe it's, again, the surface is a little bit more worn than he's expected, so he'll try and adapt to it as quickly as possible. He does have another about 6 or so laps before he would really have to worry, but in the meantime, Robbie Robinson still holding off for third place, that transfer spot. Brian Dean just peeking his nose to the inside, but someone else who's peeking to the inside is J.R. Shepard, who quietly and quickly made his way up from 5th to now 2nd. And you see there, top right-hand side, he set the fastest lap. Great onboard shot here from the number 56. As we see a side-by-side battle between J.R. Shepard and Joe Segala. Relatively the same pace scheme as well between those two, so we'll see what those two can do, as you can just see how close Shepard was to the inside guardrail, and he'll get the lead at the start-finish line about halfway.
I still think that the inside is the preferred lane right now. It's just so hard to do it right, but J.R. Shepard, through practice qualifying and obviously this heat race, has, I don't want to say perfected, can change everything, but right now he is definitely the best guy in this race to be able to hold that inside lane, and he might just start run away here from Joe Segala.
Someone who can't really run away is going to be Robbie Robinson, who, well, Brian Dean absolutely sent it into the inside momentarily for turns 3 and 4, but couldn't hang on to it, unfortunately. Lost a little bit of momentum, didn't get the right exit as well off the corner. So we'll see if Brian Dean has anything left for 56. 2 laps to go at the start-finish line, and right now J.R. Shepard running away as Joe Segala looks to defend 2nd place from Robbie Robinson for the time being.
Dean and that Firebird trying to hunt down that final transfer spot. He does have some time here with just less than 2 to go now. If he can work that inside lane well enough, he's up to the bumper of Robbie Robinson. What else can he do here? Lap and a half to go.
It's going to be the white flag at the start-finish line. The transfer spot starting to become under fire from Brian Dean. It's going to be those two against each other as the white flag flies at the start-finish line and into the inside wall. Unfortunately, it's going to be Robbie Robinson, and that will mean Brian Dean can easily get a pass on the inside lane. Does the 56 have anything left? We'll find out, but J.R. Shepard and Joe Segala continuing to run away with 1st and 2nd for the time being, and 3rd place is going to be Brian Dean at the start-finish line. So J.R. Shepard with a heat race win, and heat race number 3. Joe Segala 2nd, 3rd place Brian Dean, and that means Robbie Robinson and Austin Belkey will be sent into the consolation event, which is going to be coming up just after this 4th and final heat race, consisting of a very familiar name that we haven't seen, well, that we have seen, and it is Charlie Kuzma. He is back once again, starting off in 1st place. Ron Snyder 2nd. John Wilson starts 3rd. Jason Mendo 4th, and Steven Spies starts 5th.
And something from that last heat race that I want to look back on, because this might mean something in the consolation and the feature event, is how deceiving turn 1 is. If you've ever raced here and you're really trying to get a good arc into the corner, I mean, you almost try to drag that front end across the inside wall there, but it's just, I mean, when I turn into that corner, I feel like I'm going head first into the wall, but then you don't. The car just slides enough. It just flies over just enough. But then when you turn just a little bit too much and you're like, it looks like I'm going to hit the wall, but it's looked like that every lap, so I think I'll be fine. And then you hit the wall and you're like, oh, come on, you got to be kidding me. It's just so deceiving to hit that entry correctly, and it gets harder and harder. As you can see, it start getting more black on the entry to the corner where it's slicking off. It makes it harder to gauge where you need to turn in at and where you need to start braking at as well.
Especially with where you need to hope that you don't hit one of the 2 inside walls, or 3, I guess, in this case, that poke out here at Williams Grove. It is absolutely scary too. Well, like what you mentioned is, well, you come close to the wall at one point, and, well, it looks the same the next time, but it's just that inch or maybe 2 inches a little bit too closer than it should be. So it's pretty scary to see those little walls, lone walls peeking out. And you should be able to see it from this camera angle here for the most part. Our door goes away. There it is.
Yeah, it just kind of like, it bends out a little bit on the exit there, and that's kind of got me a couple of times. But yeah, I mean, this track has so much character with it, man. I just absolutely love it. Oh, you know, correction. I love watching these guys race it. Sometimes racing it isn't quite as fun, but boy, watching these guys try to handle it, that's fun. All of us over here, we're sitting on the couch. We're having fun.
Unfortunately, as said by last week in some post-race interviews by some drivers, they do not think that this track is too fun, but we'll see. Charlie Kuzma speeds up a little bit to 40 miles an hour, just under, and green flag is now flying. Everyone waiting for the starter, interestingly enough, not wanting to stretch out the field this early on, and immediately contact. A little bit of same real estate by the 16 and the 29. Snyder up top, 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Jason Menda on the inside lane for the lead. And behind those two, Spees and looks to be Wilson will be battling out between themselves for the 4th place spot.
So many chrome horns tonight. Jason Menda moves aside Charlie Kuzma, and he moves into P2. Ron Snyder now, he has the task of trying to hold off everyone else as he slides up as that track, especially in the center, starts to get a little bit darker. But boom, there's Jason Menda showing me right now that the inside is still the lane that you want to be on. A little bit of contact, and just like that, Kuzma, Spees, and Wilson are right back in this hunt.
And here comes Kuzma, and he'll get turned on the quarter panel. He saves it for the most part, but slipping right behind the outside is going to be John Wilson. A little bit of contact with the left rear quarter panel of Ron Snyder. Loosened up Charlie Kuzma, and now he gets a little bit of contact from Steven Spees, and unfortunately for Kuzma, he is now out of the transfer spot for the time being, as Jason Menda has set the fastest lap, and he is still directly behind Ron Snyder, who goes way up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4. It's going to be a drag race side by side at the start-finish line. Off turn number 4 this time by with 5 laps to go at the start-finish line. Menda looking to power through and get into the lead, setting another fast lap once again.
Boy, that car to the 45 got sideways, and these almost, even though that they're tanks and they kind of get up to speed better than a 305, it feels like they drive like a 305 on corner exit here at Williams Grove sometimes. But again, being very deceiving is that when you're going slow, what's that stupid phrase? You got to go slow to go fast or something like that? Yep. Well, here it actually kind of means that, because when you get on the gas too soon and you blow your corner exit, I mean, you lose all your momentum.
And he's doing a great job with his corner exit as well, absolutely nailing it. Entry and exit, you see he's not, well, actually I think he did a aerial shot, because it just looks like a little bit different between the 29 and the 45 for their entry lines, and we'll see here, possibly we'll see, here comes the 52 of John Wilson coming through for sure. But in turns 3 and 4, it was a little bit different last time for both of their entry lines. Ron Snyder had slid in a little bit more, slid lower to the inside, and then higher up top. I wonder if we'll see it here. Probably not, well, just a little bit. But Snyder has a little bit, just a little bit more control than Jason Menda.
I think Menda, though, has just he's able to slow the car down better. He's able to get to a speed where you're not sliding through turn 1 as much as Ron Snyder has been the past couple of laps, then able to diamond off the end of turns 2 and turns 4. I think that's where Menda right now is kind of getting Ron Snyder.
He's exiting a little bit lower as well, straightening the car out on the inside. So entering in the corner high and then exiting a little bit lower, and that helps him out straighten the car and get that run off the corner. And this time by is going to be the white flag as Steven Spees looks to defend that transfer spot from John Wilson. For the time being, it's Menda and Snyder, P1 and P2. They are for sure, at the moment at least, going into the A main, and they make it safely through turns 3 and 4. And it's going to be Jason Menda in the 45 with a great drive, making it into the lead of heat race number 4. It's going to be Ron Snyder second, Steven Spees third, and John Wilson as well as Charlie Kuzma will be making their way into the Constellation event.
Well, Gary, here we go. It's the last chance to get into the race. We only will take 8. This is one of the largest fields that we have seen all year. We have 10 entries here in the Constellation, and this track is starting to wear out.
Well, 2 will go home from this, and your first half of the field is going to be Brennan Myers starting off in first, Justin Morton to his outside starting off in the second place position. It's going to be starting off in third, Robbie Robinson, and then John Wilson and Ken Kibbe round out your 4th and 5th place position.
Donnie Moore outside of row 3 in that black and red 26. He'll start off in 6. Austin Belkey should be in that little spot that you don't see. There he is in that number 24 car. Will start off 7th. Charlie Kuzma on the outside of him in that black and white 16. Aiden Young will be in 9th in that white 69. And Derek Neal in that City Chevrolet will round out your field. 2 cars will go home.
I'm wondering, as Donnie Moore will get a EOR penalty, I'm wondering how much of these drivers will really have that on their mind. How many of these drivers will really be entirely aggressive throughout the first few laps of this consolation event? Because if you be too aggressive, you overdrive it, and well, next thing you know, the chancellor spot may be slipping away from you.
And this is a 12-lap race, so add 4 laps. So essentially, if you, I'm terrible at saying what this is. Or tell me if this was stupid. So you take the 8 laps from the heat race, you cut that in half, and you add that onto the back. It makes sense to me, but it sounds stupid. But anyway, it's longer. It's 1.5 times longer. I'm trying to get that across, guys. I'm sorry.
Nope, confused. Well, at least you tried it at least.
Too many numbers. Anyway, it's longer. Yep. You don't have to be so aggressive at the start. If your front end is not in the wall, you have a chance to move on.
We'll see how these drivers decide to line themselves in the first couple corners, because you try and make a mad dash right away, and it's not going to work out too well. So we will see in due time as the anticipation continues to rise. Everyone just waiting for the pace truck to pull off at this point. Pace truck pulls off. Brennan Myers in control of the field. Waiting. And it is green lights active and green flag waving, and great jump by Justin Moore. He got a great start as they make their way down into turns 1 and 2 for the time being. And it's going to be a mass scramble immediately behind, as you can see from this camera angle. And that car closest behind Robbie Robinson in the 56 as everyone very quickly sorts themselves out to single file for the most part.
Yeah, they're already almost starting to spread out here as the battle for third tightens up. Robbie Robinson on the outside, Kenny Kibbe on the inside. I still think that the inside line is the preferred lane right now. As you can see, Justin Moore starting to run away from the field as Myers really throws it on in there. Everyone behind Brennan Myers really threw it in there, and they're all losing some ground here to Justin Morton.
A bit of a scramble in the middle of the field for the time being. That's going to be John Wilson, the last driver to the transfer spot in 8th. And it's Donnie Moore and Derek Neal on the outside looking in for the time being, as everyone for now has sorted themselves out, unless they're Justin Morton, who is still trying to continue us at the fastest lap time. But right now, for the time being, side by side between Robbie Robinson and Charlie Kuzma for the 4th place position in the field. Kuzma over rotates, gets turned by the 24, and this is going to be the first caution of the night as well. There it is, a little bit late, but caution out regardless. And I think the 14 immediately, yes, he did, took a tow.
Ooh, the 16 took a tow, and that, boy, that's tough. I thought that car would have been good enough to be able to drive back around. He's probably going to lose a lap now. That's going to take him out of this race. Probably out of the A main too, and this was a tough one. I'm not sure if he just missed the entry, and then Belke, he's just on the gas, and that's the result there.
Really interesting scenario. I'm going to take a ride on board with Austin Belke in number 24, and we'll see Kuzma entering. He did turn, looks like it maybe a little bit late, but it was absolutely so fast that Austin Belke just could not react in time, unfortunately.
Yeah, Belke was just, I don't think that's anyone's fault there. Belke was just running his line, and Kuzma just kind of washed it out just a little bit too much. And when these things scrub off speed at a track where you have to be so slow in the corners, you're not going to get back up to speed very quick. And that's just a result of someone being in someone else's space, trying to run the outside there, and oh, okay, there's a car here now.
Well, at this point, it is still going to be at least 9 cars now fighting for the top 8 positions, as Charlie Kuzma still in pit road, unfortunately. So I wonder if he maybe stalled the car, couldn't get refired, but unfortunately, Charlie Kuzma at this point definitely out of this event for the time being. And just like that, going to be at 6 laps to go when we get the green flag as the lights are out. Justin Morton opting for the inside.
Yeah, I think unfortunately Kuzma, who was running really well, we've seen him do well here in his first few races in the series the last few weeks. I think what happened there was he towed, and so there's 3 laps right there. Maybe the car broke down there. That was a big hit, but man, just a shame to see that he couldn't drive away from that and try to get that quick repair.
His truck pulling off. And you see how close Kenny Kibbe is to the back bumper of Justin Morton. Green flag flies in the hands of the starter. I think that starter, but it seems to this track to be the more favorable option as Justin Morton gets the lead and starts to set sail. A little bit of attack in the 25, but he'll immediately start to set sail and break his way from that second place position as Kenny Kibbe actually looks to be following him directly behind for the time being, and a great slide by Aiden Young he made his way to third.
Beating and banging behind him, Derek Neal runs straight to the side of Robbie Robinson. Then, as you saw, Brandon Myers and Aiden Young getting door-to-door as well. And we're door-to-door and door-to-wall here on the front straightaway. Man, I know that you can use up street stocks, but these guys are just using those side panels as much as they can tonight as Kibbe is now looking for the lead.
I know it said these things were built like tanks, but I didn't mean it quite literally, Greg. It's pretty much, well, I mean, I guess it's possible, but we'll see as Kibbe, nearly gets left to the quarter panel. He moved up a little bit too soon, caught himself. Great awareness by that 14 machine. And for the time being, nearly getting tagged behind by Aiden Young, but manages to hang on to it. Great run on the inside off the corner. Kibbe challenging for the lead as they enter turns 3 and 4.
Kibbe has that advantage using the inside as he slides up into the 9, almost loses it, collects himself, and he won't even lose a spot there. And I think that was just a result of how slicked off the corner entries are. You can see how black it is right there.
And Young using the less used part of the racetrack, the fresh dirt that is up there, not entirely helping him on exit as we see the 25 of Brendan Myers get to his inside for third place. There's going to be 2 laps to go. Myers getting a little over rotation in the inside lane, but he does manage to hang on to it. Drops back, however, to P5.
Well, I was going to say how great he was going in 1 and 2 on that inside lane, but then about washed it out in 3 and 4. Now Aiden Young looking to the outside, trying to find a way around Kenny Kibbe. 1.5 laps to go here, and still every spot is you moving up a spot when the feature starts.
At this point, we'll see if anyone has anything left for pretty much anybody here. So see a little bit of a battle in the back for the chancellor spot. Austin Belkey defending from Derek Neal, as right now Justin Morton takes the white flag this time by himself, and Kenny Kibbe going to be on the charge into turns 3 and 4. Does Kenny Kibbe have anything left? It does not look to be so for the time being, especially through this corner exit. So Justin Morton adding another win to his belt, albeit a heat win for the consolation event. He advances along with Kenny Kibbe in second, third place being Aiden Young, fourth place Robbie Robinson, Brendan Myers fifth, Austin Belkey sixth, and seventh place Derek Neal, with John Wilson rounding out the 8th place positions. Donnie Moore and Charlie Kuzma did not advance.
A tough break for Kuzma, as we mentioned, but now it's time to get ready for the A main. There's no time to take a breath in, no time to get on the scale. Move that cone out of the way. Justin Moore's going to get ready to go and warm up for this A main. Oh, no, he actually will go to the scales. Hold on.
I guess he just wants to make sure a little bit after. So 5-minute warm-up now, and something that I'm just personally interested in right now. Heat race number 2, fastest lap for Justin Morton was a 25.202. Howard Jackson's fastest lap in heat race number 1 was a 25.045. So 0.2 of a second faster in heat race number 1, but that was with a fresher track state in heat race number 1. So I'm wondering if those two were put in that same heat, they would be setting relatively equal lap times. But we won't really know until the feature comes around, or even with this warm-up session that we have coming up as well.
And in that feature, the track state will go back a little bit. They'll take the grinder, they'll take the blade, they'll take the water, they'll bring it back to the 20% when the green flag flies. Tongue twister. And that's how the track will move on. So you're not going to see the state like you saw back in heat race number 1, maybe even heat race number 2, so the track will be used up a little bit. And I talked about being able to use that untapped moisture on the inside. I think that might be key here tonight.
We'll see how much that can play out tonight, as well as there goes the fastest lap changing now three times within the past 10 seconds at that point, the start-finish line. Currently, Jared Shepard at the top of the timing board just by 0.077 seconds, just under 10th of a second by Aiden Young. And so far, well, Howard Jackson is now actually on the pole time as he just now sets a faster lap time. So Jackson in control of the board by by 4/1000th of a second.
Shepard has also looked really, really good all night long. He's typically a juggernaut in the Grand National Series and a couple of the other asphalt series here in the Bootleg Racing League, but tonight he's really performed here on the dirt. I do want to talk a little bit about Williams Grove Speedway. Here's your useless facts for you to go to your local bar and talk about when it opened for coronavirus. But Williams Grove Speedway opened way back in 1939. Their last street stock race, because they actually had a street stock series for a few years in the 2010s. They haven't raced since April 22nd of 2016. The guy who won that race was Mike Potts. That was his first ever dirt street stock win at Williams Grove. Might we see a first-time winner this season at Williams Grove here in BRL, as these guys are flipping here on the back straightaway? Interesting, but also a fun fact that I enjoyed finding. NASCAR has raced here at Williams Grove. Take it back to June 27th, 1954. The NASCAR Grand National Series ran here at Williams Grove. Herb Thomas won that race. You might not know him, but the last big-time national touring stock car series who raced here was ARCA. They ran here on June 1st of 1969. A name that you stock car guys might just know. Benny Parsons won that race here at Williams Grove.
Very familiar name. I wonder where I've heard Benny Parsons from before. But absolutely incredible history behind this racetrack, and it's just like North Wilkesboro. They have a track that's been around for so long, history behind it, which is basically any track in racing existence ever at some point. So you can only say that about any track ever for so long. But it's absolutely incredible to hear that some tracks have, how much different history it has, and essentially maybe the origin points of some other drivers as well. And I'm still seeing that little jump out on the back straightaway from that opening in the guardrail, and that still scares me, and I'm not even racing here, so apparently.
Hey, I got another tidbit for you, Gary. Here's another fun one. So, we talk about how a lot of these historic tracks usually come from horse racing tracks. My local legendary racetrack, Manzanita Speedway in Arizona, that was a dog racing track. So that's usually where the dirt tracks come from. This track, though, when it was built in '39, the reason why it was built was because across the street was an amusement park. And the amusement park family owners were convinced to build a dirt track, being Williams Grove. I mean, it's almost the exact same track that we have here today in 2020. And so there's all these tracks that come from dog racing and horse racing, these legendary old tracks. Well, this track came from an amusement park. And believe it or not, in 2005, the amusement park was shut down to better serve the racetrack, to invest more money in the racetrack. When was the last time you heard that? Something else being shut down to help the racetrack and not vice versa.
That is something that you usually never hear about as well, and especially with, I think there was contact between the 45 and I hope we don't see that before later on in the race, because nowhere to go. You go up top and suddenly, nope, there's a car here. So it's something with, I believe, Atlanta Moore Speedway's concept at one point that was announced as essentially just a festival weekend, and I believe they'll be pretty much ending with the oval configuration of Atlanta as well at the end of the weekend. That's what I imagine it to be. So concepts like that are just absolutely incredible. And well, the concept that we will see come to fruition is, will we see a fourth different winner here in the next 30 laps? Well, we'll find out at the end of those, but your feature race is now starting to grid up, with Tyler Jackson starting off in the first row. Jared Melton starting off in second place, and Tyler Jackson already eager, turning the steering wheel, ready to go. J.R. Shepard starts off in third. Fourth place will be Jason Mendel, with Michael Redding starting off in fifth place. Bobby Rafferty starts off in sixth. Joe Segala, seventh place. Eighth place, Ron Snyder. Ninth place is going to be Roger Woody. And 10th place is Brock Lovett. 11th place, the white 23 of Brian Dean in that Firebird. In 12th, Steven Spees in that dark black number 55. Justin Moore will start off 13th after winning the consolation in the number 9. Kenny Kibbe in the orange 14 will start off 14th. Aiden Young, the white 69 in 15th. Robbie Robinson in the black 56 and 16th. Brennan Myers with Lightning McQueen job on number 25 and 17th. Starting 18th will be Austin Belkey in blue 24. Derek Neal in 19th in the number 15 car. And rounding out the field, John Wilson in the gray number 52. Well, Devin, before we get underway, as we take a look at the, oddly enough, Warning track surface here, What are we looking for? What lines are these drivers? What lines should these drivers be taking in the opening laps?
These guys always tend to prove me wrong sometimes because I'm a huge advocate, especially in real life, using the moisture left over on the bottom. I think tonight in the virtual world, it finally pans out for me. There is moisture on the bottom, guys. Use it because you can already see how low that cushion is at even 20% track state. All night long, we've seen guys succeed on the bottom. Oddly enough, though, the bottom feeder who has control of where he wants to start is picking the outside.
Now, Tyler Jackson being the odd man out for the night, picking the outside lane here for Williams Grove Speedway to start. I think he wants a little bit of a challenge of himself, so we shall see what Tyler Jackson has in store on the top side as the pit truck pulls off. Get some popcorn ready and, well, kick back and relax and, well, maybe sit on the edge of your seat because these guys are going to be putting on a great show. 30 laps here at Williams Grove as we go green flag racing underway. Again, 30 laps, Tyler Jackson opting for the outside lane on the main start. And so far, looks to be immediately playing out very well as everyone scrambles for a certain line in turn 1 and 2. Well, that didn't take too long.
Roger Woody got collected there.
In the middle of that.
Roger Woody had a tough time there as we had a domino accordion effect in the middle of the pack. It wasn't a great start in the middle of the pack. They flew into turn 1. Redding gets Zagala, who gets in, to the rest of the inside lane, basically. Big damage. For who is that? Is that Neil? We got Dean. We got Morton got a lot in there. So, boy, a lot of cars getting a little beat up. And here's Brandon Meyer's view. This was kind of a weird start for the inside lane here, Gary.
Yeah, it's pretty much the entire, back half of the inside lane just getting back quarter of the inside lane getting wiped out. And, yep, just absolutely nowhere to go. It happening so fast. And, well, if you try and brake in time, well, it's not exactly going to work. A, you're on dirt, and, well, I mean, it's a pretty slick surface in some cases. And in a sense, it's like locking up your tires on asphalt. You lock up the tires from braking so hard, well, you can't really turn anywhere. You have nowhere to go. And oddly enough, the fastest lap has now been set by Jared Shepard just after not even more of a quarter of the lap of green flag. And, well, already interestingly
37
enough,
seconds.
Yeah, no, there goes Brandon Myers now, so another whopping 37 seconds. But Tyler Jackson, interestingly enough, running in the top side already. So I wonder if he really thinks on using the very top side.
So, Gary, let's talk about cautions. I know we don't want to, but this season started off, I mean, we've talked about multiple times how talented this series is. I mean, they run 4 wide at tracks that you're not supposed to be running 4 wide on, even in iRacing, and we see them so composed and run so well week after week. These last 2 weeks, though, we have had 11 cautions for 37 laps. Every race except for, I believe, here at Williams Grove, which will be 30, is a 40-lap race. We have had almost an entire race under caution the last 2 weeks, including last week at Fairbury. That was 6 cautions for 22 laps.
Well, let's hope that's definitely not going to be the case. At most,
it's got to end sometime. The season started off so well caution-wise.
Well, we'll see. Tyler Jackson opting for the outside again. And, well, like you mentioned earlier on, it was 3 cautions in Season 2, 0 cautions in the first season. And, well, we're already essentially 1 for 2 in terms of, or 2 for 1 in terms of cautions versus caution 3. Right now, on the 75, Jared Melton poking his nose out a little bit early, trying to get the jump on Tyler Jackson, and it seems to have worked out for this time, as Jared Melton will now get the preferred run on the inside lane for the time being. Drag race between pretty much everybody, 3 wide in the middle of the field for the moment. Someone stuck up on the top side, I believe, as Brock Lovett. They sort themselves out to 2 wide as Tyler Jackson flings it into the corner in 3 and 4.
A much cleaner start there for everyone everywhere down the front straightaway and turn 1 as Tyler Jackson gets away. He will lead lap number 1, and here comes J.R. Shepard looking to get away from Gerard Melton. Melton, we don't really see him start this high up in A mains. We'll see. Right now he's doing a really good job trying to keep that 75 in the top 3.
J.R. Shepard saying otherwise, utilizing the top side, the less worn-in part of the racetrack, and you can kind of see from the entry how worn in the inside lane is, how slicked up it is. You see Joe Michael Redding getting cut off by the 45. Gives it maybe a little bit of a shot unintentionally as well on corner entry just from how close they are. But they are 3 wide in front, 3 wide as well. Redding finally sorts himself out. He'll be 2 wide now with Stephen Speeds as Rafferty looks to follow the tire tracks of the 98 of J.R. Shepard, and Melton just utilizing the inside lane.
The leaders right now already starting to get single file, and everyone's moving around. Now everyone's looking up the top, and we got a yellow flag out on the track, another one.
Oh, Justin Morton, not what he wanted after last week.
Well, hopefully he didn't already use his fast repair. We'll see here in the replay. Oh, I think he did. This is going to be a tough one for the 9.
Been in front, almost called it. Derek Neal moves to the inside, and suddenly he finds the back bumper of Justin Morton, unfortunately, and that pretty much is all said and done for, at least for now, for the run of Justin Morton, because he did use that fast repair by the looks of it. Right on board Derek Neal. Great shot as we see. Sees the incident, turns to the inside, and suddenly the 9 is there as well, again caught up in the accident.
Yeah, he could have went to the outside there, and I think he still would have gotten into someone. Maybe even still ended up getting into Justin Morton, and that's just the case of this track being so much more narrow than the rest of these tracks here on iRacing. There's just nowhere to go compared to, say, an Eldora, when what Neil did there, you just turn the wheel left, and I mean, if you hit the inside wall, it's hard to do at a place like Eldora, but you miss everyone. But here, the track is just so narrow, making last-second decisions become oh so more vital to the success of your front bumper staying on the car.
And sometimes those split-second decisions may not always matter, so it's really unfortunate in some cases, but well, we can start to see why some drivers really didn't like Williams Grove. Everyone uses either the, well, everyone usually just uses the top side at every single dirt track. Well, you can use it here, but it's not going to really help you out too much, unfortunately, so everyone just utilizing that lighter surface just above where the 98 is, utilizing that line right there for the most part. Is pretty much everybody, aside from the odd few drivers using the inside lane. And well, speaking of the inside lane, looks like Tyler Jackson has decided, well, you know what? I'm going to have a little bit of a change of pace. I opt for the inside lane this time as the lights go out.
Very interesting, because we have seen him using the outside, pioneering the outside lane in ways. I don't know, maybe he saw Melton doing something that he liked. Also, I think it might have been Redding. Someone back there was really utilizing it was Spees. Spees was using the inside really, really well. So maybe Jackson saw something in that mirror that he liked and thinks, hey, I think it's time to go back down to the inside, touch on that moisture on the very bottom of the track.
And we'll see how this plays off for Tyler Jackson as the pace truck gets ready to pull off back into pit road, putting the field in control of the number 8 machine. Tyler Jackson slowly ramping up the speed as the green flag flies once again here at Williams Grove. Equal start by the 2. Rafferty looked for a second to go 3 wide right away. Decided against it. It's going to be practically a staggered 4 wide as everyone chooses a lane. And well, great job for Tyler Jackson so far, as it's a huge crash, a 45 around in the back, and it's the big one on the back straightaway, almost a moving parking lot as they continue to rack all the way down to turn number 3.
And Segala's car was absolutely toast. This all starts. Spees was trying to make room on the inside there, gets into Menda, and Menda just does not save it in time and just straight into the wall and nowhere. There was not a single thing that Brock Lovett could do there. And then Segala gets the worst of this. Watch Segala on the right side of your screen. He hits probably the least favorite part of this track. I've never seen a car hit that before. Never seen a car hit that before. Just goes to show you in racing, anyone can hit any part of the wall ever.
I mean, that's kind of almost an example of, say, Jeff Gordon at Las Vegas at one point before they had the safety barrier there. Spun so long trying to save it. Unfortunately, it just wasn't the case at the one part that didn't have a safety barrier, and it's almost not exactly similar to that, but it's the premise is pretty much there, and you never really expect it. And the next thing that happens, well, why safety innovation happens as well, but just nowhere to go. And unfortunately, immediately out are some of these drivers. Joe Segala for one with the smoking engine and the missing front bumper.
Hey, how about the new leader, J.R. Shepard, will now have lane selection.
How lucky J.R. Shepard had to be before the moment the caution came out to be just in front of Tyler Jackson. I'm going to be personally looking to see how close it had to be. Well, it was just as they went into turn number 3. He had a very good gap, about half a car length at the moment the caution came out.
Boy, this is tough, guys. Coming to the halfway point, how many laps have we done under green? And I mean, part of that is how narrow the track is, but even Speed's kind of, I don't want to say that he started that because I still don't think it was his fault or anything, but he was just trying to utilize that inside lane, and the guys who just are, they can't quite slow the car down enough to use the inside lane, still try to utilize that moisture, and it just doesn't work, and everyone's just gunning for the same spot.
Jared Shepard opted for the outside lane. Everyone's still continuing to go on the starter this time. Blowing up just a little bit. Green flag flies. Jackson a little bit ahead, but, well, it's going to be, looks to be just fine for that main start. And it's going to be Michael Redding straight up on the middle 3 wide. This is not going to go well. They all make a lot of contact, and still the 75 of Melton hangs on to it.
I don't know how they did that. Even Rafferty checked up big time, and now Melton over rotates just a smidge. Kimi got into, boy, look how far back that accordion. The 4th place car got a little loose, and the dude all the way back in 10th even got a piece of that action. That's how much this accordion effect just, man, I mean, they're just bouncing off doors behind in the pack. We might get another caution here soon because, man, we got about 6 guys again together, and there's the caution.
Well, you jinxed it, and it's a 3-car crash. Austin Belkey, the 23, involved as well. Brian D.
That one started with Woody actually getting into. There it is. Yep. And then there goes everyone else.
It's fine, and it's all the way up the racetrack for Brian Dean.
Boy, this one's tough, guys. This is a toughie tonight. This is why these guys don't like this track so much.
Not only that, but no one can really run the top side and enjoy it. Riding on board with Austin Belkey, let's see, looking to the left-hand side, rather the car in front, because that's where his focus would be. And 3, 2, 1. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. Neil
this is what I tell all my friends who don't like racing. I take a clip from either iRacing or real-life racing and on board, and I say, miss this crash for me. Tell me how to do that. If you can tell me how to do that, I'll put you in a car. There's nothing that you can do right there. Man, are these guys trying to save fuel? Is that where this race is going?
Now everyone's just running the inside due to the couple of cars. Joseph Goff for one getting waved around the pace truck.
Okay, gotcha. I was getting worried there. I was like, it hasn't been that long of a race.
Yeah, there goes Joe Segala. And there goes everyone back up to the top side. But for the time being, well, Tyler Jackson now had the lead at the time of the caution, and if everything is assumed to be correct, it should be lights out this time by, and it's going to be a 10-lap shootout when the green flag flies. So for now, this Williams Grove is looking a lot like, in a sense, the longer and dirt version of Martinsville, where no one enjoys it. They try to race and they try to survive, and it just doesn't work out every single time.
Well, as tough as this race has been, let's first of all talk about Steven Speed. Started 12th. He's now going to be 2nd row outside. He's all the way up to 4th. And we talked about how Justin Morin had some bad luck. First of all, he had to start in 13th because of coming out of the Constellation. Then he got involved in 2 crashes. Right now, Justin Morin is sitting pretty well in 8th.
Well, it's going to be 10 laps to go. Jackson opted for the inside lane this time around.
He likes that moisture on the inside. He was glad when Shepard won the outside last restart.
Yeah, this is going to play into his favor as well for Jackson. So pace truck has pulled off. It's going to be 10 laps to go. Just waiting, continuing to wait. Green flag flies just off turn number 4, and we're back underway as it's going to be an even drag race, and immediately give the advantage to maybe not Tyler Jackson, because he gets a little bit of a bump from Michael Bradley directly behind him. We got almost a shot from Bobby Rafferty, and here comes Bobby Rafferty slipping right through from row 3 to what could be row 2 on the restart, as it's close 3 wide in turn number 3.
Rafferty's going to gain more momentum here as Jackson slid up the track, but they're still stuck 3 wide for 3rd. Speed's way on the outside. He's been running the bottom so well tonight. He's trying to make up 2 spots on the outside here.
Rafferty backs out, tries again on the inside lane as we ride on board the 75. Around goes Rafferty into the inside wall. That's going to be another caution, unfortunately, as they still continue to make a little bit of contact afterwards.
That is an absolute shame. Bobby Rafferty was driving so well. I expected in about 2 laps for him to be in 2nd fighting with Jackson, but the issue here is they were not quite 4 wide, but Shepard, I think that he was just a little loose coming off the corner, so he wasn't all the way on the outside on exit. He hits the car inside of him, who hits the car inside of him, who hits the car inside of him, who happens to be Rafferty. That's how big of an accordion effect that this track brings.
I will say, you could see there just nearly just a nose away from being 4 wide. Well, actually, I guess we could count the 98 being 4 wide. And yeah, just that accordion effect. But with those three running together, 3 wide and making contact all at the same time, you have to admit that was impressive that it took them that long to make that much of contact to really spin around somebody, at least within that group.
I was impressed only one spun out. I mean, that could have been catastrophic with those guys bouncing off each other. I thought that Shepard might have got taken out there from the recoil from one of the cars. So I was surprised there that we only had one guy spin, but unfortunately it was Bobby Rafferty who had been running so well up to that point. I feel like if Jackson, Rafferty, Shepard, and Speeds got away from the field, that was going to be an insane battle. With that being said, though, I should have known better that we weren't going to have that many green flag laps in a row to see a fierce battle up front. Just, we're going to get the green here with, what, 5 to go maybe?
At the moment, seems to be so, and with Tyler Jackson running through on the top side, he might be opting for the top side this time. Here comes J.R. Shepard to the inside, so yes, 1 lap to go before we go back green as lights go out.
I believe, actually, we're going to have... We've thrown the caution back out, so we're going to have a delayed green here, so we'll go back to action with now just 4 laps to go.
Not sure as to why, to be quite honest, but regardless, Tyler Jackson opting for the top side. And after that restart, after that initial restart, he did have a pretty good run with J.R. Shepard up on that top side. So I think that's why Jackson decided to opt for that outside lane this time by. We're not going green just yet. 1 more pace lap, light's going to go out, and like Devin mentioned, it's going to be a 4-lap shootout. You can see everyone, pretty much the outside lane running the lighter side. That's where everyone wants to run now at this point.
When you get a 20-car field here, I don't think that this series is so great. We've seen the talent of these guys week after week after week. It's just that when you get to a race like this, there's just no patience with these drivers, I think. Even when there was 30 to go and the green flag flew, just a little bit too much take, not nearly enough give so far. But also that last caution, that was no one's fault. Shepard might have over-rotated a little bit, so he didn't get on exit as high up as he could have, and then it was just a chain reaction. So it's just the toughness that Williams Grove brings to even the virtual world.
Williams Grove absolutely unforgiving in some senses, and this might be one of them, as it could be restarting in the slick. Is going to be the 98. Tyler Jackson waits, green flag flies again, a little bit of a bump as well from behind by Michael Redding, and so far so good as they make their way down into turns 1 and 2. Redding immediately looking in the middle for 3 wide, as they are 3 wide just behind them. Justin Morton trying to hang on. And it's going to be side by side. J.R. Shepard trying to battle Tyler Jackson for the lead as they head down into turn 3.
Shepard really utilizing that inside moisture, got the car woed down a little bit more than Tyler Jackson did, able to stay 2 by 2 with it. Here comes Justin Morton looking for 4th place now.
Michael Redding looking for 2nd place up on the top side as well, and he's using a slightly higher line as well. 2.5 laps to go as they go down the back straightaway this time by. And it's going to be the higher line going to Michael Redding. Tyler Jackson trying to make a little bit of a slide job attempt that slowed his momentum up just a bit. Michael Redding making the challenge for the lead with 2 laps to go.
Great move. Melton moves his way into 5th place as he heads back down to the inside, but one of the most consistent there, but slides way up almost to Justin Morton. And now we have a battle for the lead. Michael Redding got to the outside quarter panel of Jackson.
The last time these two had battled was at Knoxville with a great run on the inside lane. Now they're utilizing the outside lane, and just as they come to get the white flag, caution flies. It was J.R. Shepard around from 3rd place, falling all the way back, and that means it will be Tyler Jackson getting the win, as he was about car length ahead of Michael Redding when the caution had flown. This is the last lap, so show the replay momentarily, but Tyler Jackson, just by a car length essentially, gets saved by the bell And he'll come off turn number 4 at 35 miles an hour. Probably not the way he wanted to win, but we'll get a congratulatory bump from Michael Redding. Tyler Jackson, once again, a winner here at race number 8 here at Williams Grove. I get a replay to see what exactly has happened here with J.R. Shepard from going from 3rd to 18th, unfortunately.
Yeah, Shepard slides down the track. I think he got a bump before that and just found the front end of Melton. Boy, that was just a shame. 2 great front runners. Late wrecks, and that's going to put him all the way to the back of this finishing order.
You see sliding up, and it's just one of those moments where you think you have it, and then you don't. That one spin out of the way as well, disappointingly enough. But, well, Tyler Jackson, as he burns it down on the front straightaway, absolutely elated to get another win here at Williams Grove. We'll be right back momentarily. Don't go anywhere, though, as we go to post-race interviews, but also see some upcoming races and the unofficial results just after this. Welcome back to Williams Grove Speedway, where after 30 laps, results look as follows. After an incredible race and an unfortunate caution right at the last moment, Tyler Jackson will be victorious by, at the moment of caution at least, pretty much a car length for the most part, where Michael Redding was directly on his outside coming off of turn number 4. Justin Morton comes home with another podium finish, finishing 3rd place, and he will continue that streak so far. Jared Melton finishing off in the 4th place position after starting in 2nd place. But Steven Speeds rounds out the top 5 from starting in position number 12. Kenny Kibbe finishes in 6th after starting in 14th, so great run for those two. Jason Menda finishes in 7th. 8th place is Aiden Young. 9th place is Brendan Myers from 17th to 9th. Great run by him tonight. Ron Snyder rounds out your top 10.
In 11th, Robbie Robinson. Brian Dean takes on 12th. Heartbreak for Bobby Rafferty running up front so much this race. Has to settle for 13th. Brock Love at 14th. Austin Belkey 15th. Derek Neal in 16th. John Wilson would end up 17th. Heartbreak at the end there. J.R. Shepard from fighting for the lead there towards the end to the final car on the lead lap. Then Joe Segala and Roger Woody round out your field. Basically the entire back end of all the names that I announced, all guys with just a lot of trouble tonight.
Those that did not have trouble, one being the number 8 bottom feeder, Tyler Jackson, notching another win on his list here at Williams Grove. Tyler, congratulations. And with those, walk us through the entire race, and especially those final couple laps when Redding was closing in. We may not have Tyler Jackson. Oh.
Guys got me?
Yep, there we go.
Yeah, it was kind of just a race to the yellow every 2 or 3 laps, so that kind of stunk. But I didn't know what really to do, start on the bottom or start on top. Bottom was quick, but you got to hope the guy behind you brakes as much as you do, so I just started going to the top.
And throughout that race, did you really have any preferred line at that point, or was it just either or?
Basically, I was just running the middle of the track, trying to do a slide job line. It looked like Michael started catching me there at the end, running the complete top. So I wish it could have gone green a few more laps. We could have battled it out.
Yeah, it's a really exciting race up to the end. Unfortunately, the caution did come out, but luckily you do notch another win into your list. So heading into Kokomo in the in 2 weeks' time, what are your thoughts, especially now that we head back to a relatively more regular dirt track in a sense?
Yeah, the quarter miles are more my style. I don't know what it is about them. I like running right up against the outside wall at Kokomo, so that'll be fun. Yeah, we'll look forward to it.
Before we go ahead and let you go celebrate another win, who would you like to give a shout out to and thank for that win here tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank the girlfriend as always. Got Jack CDM on the hood, NC Resources, Milner Media and Design for this cool paint job I got. I got to give a shout out to the crew chief, Jose Gill. He's watching at work. And also my other buddy from work, John, tuned in tonight. So thanks for them for watching. And thanks for the broadcast.
I thank you for your time and congratulate you once again on your race win here at Williams Grove. We hope to talk to you again next week. Well, next 2 weeks, I should say, at Kokomo.
Thank you.
And standing by with your second place finisher, Michael Redding, is Devin Henry.
Michael Redding ends the night in second, P2, but man, some really close quarter racing. How tough was it to not just, just line into guys as that track continued to slick on off?
It wasn't too bad. It was actually a lot of fun. I had a lot of grip. It seemed like I had a lot more grip than those other guys did. I don't know if it was just the way I was carrying myself into the corner or what.
Was it tough to kind of track the track, if you would, kind of know what line you need to be running in? As you were running that slick stuff, that ever kind of change up your thinking? Where do you need to go or move around the track? As everyone kind of was just picking different spots on the track throughout the race.
I knew I needed to be on the top side. That was definitely where I needed to be. And had I had another lap, I think it'd have been. I'd have easily picked up that win. I don't think Tyler was going to be good enough to block me from up there, but I don't know.
I know you got that Knievel helmet on all the time, so I want to know what would you think that Evil would think of that race there, all that being and banging all night long?
Well, I don't back down from nothing. That's another reason why I'm also the evil outlaw. Is don't ruffle my feathers, because I will come back with a vengeance. I'm not going to back down. I'm going to be super aggressive, and I'm going to attack you in any way I can. So, yeah, there's no limits, no limitations to what I'm going to do.
And who you got to thank tonight for your second place finish here at the Grove?
I got to definitely thank all the guys at my team here at Our Evil Motorsports, Max Auto Motorsports, Young Gun Creations, and TAC Design for the awesome paint scheme. And, of course, Loel for putting on the league, and John helping out and everything.
Second place finish tonight for Michael Redding. Thanks, Michael.
Appreciate it, man.
And now back to Gary. He's got the guy who came from 13th to 3rd, Justin Morton.
Here with Justin Morton, who continues to surprise pretty much, I'm pretty sure himself, but also everybody by getting another podium finish here this week, albeit not first place, but luckily with a third place finish by the end of the night. How was that track handling out there for you tonight?
Oh man, that was a rough one, having to go from the back a few times. I'm not a fan of this track, so yeah, that third place was definitely a surprise to me.
Heading into those final laps, you did get caught up in a couple incidents, as you mentioned, and well, at some points I believe you maybe used up at least one faster pair, but luckily managed to at least claw your way back up with the with this track compared to Kokomo that we're going into in 2 weeks' time. What are your thoughts as we focus on that?
Yeah, I love Kokomo. It is probably my favorite dirt track until they release I-55. I just really like the smaller tracks. They seem to race a lot better too.
Well, as we look ahead for also the rest of the season, looks to be everything relatively sorted out, at least for Tyler Jackson in first place. But you do have Steven Speeds to defend from for that second place points position. So, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it should be a good fight between me and Steven. He's a really good dirt racer. I'm really surprised at myself with how well I'm doing in these races, but a little luck gets you a long way.
Well, we will hopefully see how that luck plays out. Before we go ahead and let you go, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to or thank for your third place?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team, TDR, Blackbox, OpenWhaler.com, Lowell for running the league and putting up with all of us, Cruise Shop for sponsoring the series, and thank you guys for doing the broadcasting. You always do such a great job.
Well, we thank you for your time, and we hope to talk to you again in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
Well, that was Justin Morton finishing in third place. And, well, Devin, after 2 weeks, I think at this point, it's safe to say that the point standings have sorted themselves out. After coming into and leaving Williams Grove, it is relatively the same points positions. It's still first through fifth, Tyler Jackson, Justin Morton, Steven Spees, Michael Redding, and Aiden Young. The really only major difference is the points that separate these drivers. So heading into Kokomo in the next 2 weeks, I'm wondering how they will take to that track, especially since, well, as compared to Williams Grove tonight, everyone seems to like that a little bit more. But regardless, as we sign off here from Williams Grove, we'd like to give a shout to a few other people as well, one of which being the Cruise Shop, which you can contact at 260-755-6125 or visit thecruiseshopfw.com. And they are dedicated to fulfilling their claims streams at one destination at a time. And it looks like we found Devin put his final thoughts really quickly.
Well, I just had to write something down because one thing I learned tonight was I wanted to run that C-Class official race at Williams Grove Street Stocks tomorrow, and I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. But I am still really, really excited for Kokomo here in 2 weeks. It's a shame it's 2 weeks away, but man, love racing at Kokomo.
I think we all are excited as well. We'd like to thank the league, the Bootleg Racing League, for coverage, for having us provide coverage of their league as well. And thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast, as you can see listed here on your screen. Additional thanks goes to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. You can contact her at the link below on your screen if you're interested in having her provide you some of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check out our social media at Twitter being at GSR Channel, Facebook is Global SimRacing Channel, and our Instagram is GSRC_brand. If you'd like to support the channel, go to our merchandise store at gsrc.storenvy.com, as gsrc.storenvy.com. The link is in the description below. Don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page and hit that bright red subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Set your preference to all so you don't miss a moment here on the Global SimRacing Channel. The next Dirt Street Stock Series race here for the Bootleg Racing League is Kokomo Speedway, May 29th at 5:10 p.m. Pacific or 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time. But we also have other races coming up sooner. You can see here the Bootleg Racing League's National Series coming up tomorrow at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. So any of those races or any races that really catch your interest, make sure you write them down on your calendar as they come through here on the screen, upcoming here on GSRC. Thanks again to the team today, co-commentator Devin Henry, director Joe Peak, and camera provider Dougie Beard. I'm Gary Weaver, and until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track. Good night from Williams Grove.